All right, we are live. Ready?
Ready. Let's do this.
All right, it's you and me tonight. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? We are live. Welcome to another session of the Golf Club Podcast. You guys already know my name is Will. I'm the host of this show, number one Polynesian podcast in the world. Oh, wow, let's get it, y'all. As you guys can see, I have a very special guest tonight. We're going to have a great discussion today. I'm excited for tonight's discussion. If you're tuning in for the very first time, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a great show for you guys tonight. And of course, to all my subscribers out there, the people that always follow and support my channel, thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget, if you love the content, appreciate what I do, and all the weekly, daily shows I show for you guys every single week, you guys already know what to do. Smash that, press and like that subscribe button real quick. And don't forget, so you get notifications every single time we do go live. Don't forget, this is a public show, so always appreciate you guys, always on the live chat. Let me know what you guys think. We're going to have a good discussion tonight. I have a great host who has a podcast of her own, and we're going to have some great discussion tonight. I'm excited to have her on. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys have perspectives, your opinions, whether you agree or disagree. Always appreciate you guys on the live chat. And of course, if you're tuning in already, I see you guys already going up in the viewership. Show some love on the live chat and let me know where you guys tuning in from and let me know you support the podcast. Don't forget, this is a public show. So if you're tuning in for the very first time and you're not familiar with my channel, I do allow people to come on and be part of conversations because we have open conversations about topics and dating and relationships. And I always like to hear from different perspectives from men and women. So whether you agree or disagree. So I'm going to post a public link on the live chat on YouTube. So if you're watching this from Twitch, if you're watching this from Facebook, you have to come to YouTube. It's going to be pinned to the top of the screen. Click on that link and you can be part of the podcast tonight. Don't forget, we do have the super chat donations. A lot of you guys like to donate financially to my channel. Every single donation will be reinvested back to my podcast to give you guys the best quality content. And of course, I'm launching my podcast studio tonight. So that way I can have in studio podcasts and have live guests to give you guys better content for you guys. So thank you so much. I see you two wonderful in the live chat. Say,
No,
hey, guys, glad to see you. MZ Carol. No need for popcorn tonight.
no, sir.
Yes, yeah, we're not really gonna have any drama tonight, but maybe there will be a public guest that might join us that may give us some drama, and we may need some popcorn. So just have that popcorn ready. Just have
Or a
that popcorn ready,
drink,
just in case,
whatever you prefer.
or drink. That's true. That's true. Thank you so much, and shout out to you, to wonderful. Always appreciate you on the live chat and supporting the podcast. But yeah, and of course, if you have a specific question, you have a specific topic that you want us and the guests to discuss tonight, and reply back to you guys, drop into a super chat donation to donate and support the channel, and I'll make sure I'll read it and reply back to you, and we can get a response for you. Besides that, that's pretty much all my YouTube stuff. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. First and foremost, I just want to say, MC Carol, thank you so much for being on part of the podcast tonight. I'm excited. I know I've seen you multiple times on live chat, so it is a great honor to finally have you on. to finally,
Thank you.
and be part of the podcast. I know Daniela is going to be very proud because Daniela always says to the live chat, hey, man, if you guys have something to say, come on the podcast and say it and join the conversation. And yeah, I know it takes a lot of courage to be on the live chat, to come on here and be open and be part of a conversation and share your thoughts and share what you think. That's a salute to you. But yeah, I also want to, he's also setting a good example for everybody in the live chat. Maybe too wonderful, inspired to wonderful one day to jump on with us. One day.
Hopefully, because he was the one who mainly said, you should join, like just join. And I'm like, okay, now we're calling you. Like next time, future reference, let's do this.
All right, yeah, it's a wonderful. Come on, man. I know you got it, brother. Just come on and join the conversation. But yeah, it's always a blessing to have you on. But I know some people may not know who you are. So can you go ahead and give yourself a quick intro, your name, your age, what do you do, and what is your status? Go ahead.
My name is Carolina, but I go by Carol on my social media. I go by MZ Carol 626. I am 37. I have 3 kids and I am married. I am the girl that says I am going on 25 years going married. We're in with my 3 kids, and this is a face behind the comments.
All right, shout out to you, man. 25 years, man. You don't hear that a lot in today's times. in
I
today's
met him when I was 13.
All right. Shout out to you, and shout out to your husband, and shout out to your family. Thank you so much. I'm excited to have you on for tonight. I see two wonderful said, I'll make my debut one day.
All right, we'll take your word for it.
I'm holding you to that. Too wonderful. I'm gonna hold you to that. One day, you said one day.
Yes.
Nevertheless, shout out to everybody in the live chat. And of course, if you're watching this right now, definitely drop some love. Let's get that live chat popping. Show some love on the live chat. Show some love to my guests, and of course, to all those who support Carol. I'll definitely drop the links below so that we can support her and her platforms as well. And I know she has a podcast also, so definitely support her everything she does as well. But Carol, let's go right into it. I know we have a great podcast tonight. I have a great discussion to start off tonight's discussion. Great topic. I have a video I'm gonna play real quick. Something I just saw kind of viral real quick. Everybody was talking about it through the comments. So I'm gonna play that video real quick. It's because it is related to marriage and wife.
Sorry about that. Hey.
So let me play the video right now. And of course, as you guys watching the video, you guys can go ahead and react to it and let me know what your reactions are on the live chat. All right. So let me play the video real quick.
This is where the line gets drawn in the sand. My girlfriend is teaching my daughter how to cook. She wants a husband one day. Are you going to cook for her? I ain't cooking for no man. I don't cook. I don't clean. Well, that's why you're single. That's why most women in the late 30s and early 40s are single and grumpy, and all men are douchebags and they're all cheaters. The poll that's been done in relationships, 28% of the men have admitted to cheating, 25% of the women have admitted to cheating. So it's about even. But when the divorces happen, 80% of the divorces, it's the woman filing for divorce, leaving the house because she thinks she can do better. And so what happens is now I don't need the man. Now you're out there trying to go find another high value man when you had somebody that was responsible to take care of the kids and he's trying to take care of you, but you wanted to challenge him on everything.
All right. So yeah, that was a video I did saw kind of going viral, and people had a lot to say, especially the women, the women on the comments. But pretty much what I saw on the comment section, Carol, that a lot of the men were saying from their perspective that they're saying that a lot of women today don't know how to be a good wife to their husband. And of course, I kind of let me put it out there first. Like I said, I'm not just going to target the women, but I do believe that men need to be better as well. So let's put that out there. Men need to be better. Men need to be strong. A husband to strong masculine men to be able to be good provider, protectors, and leaders for their wives and their family. But of course, I know we had a conversation before this podcast, MC Carol, that there's a lot of women out there with a strong, independent. I don't want to cook for my man. I don't want to clean for my man. I don't want to rely on him. I can do everything on my own. But they still expect the man to be a traditional man to come in and be a good, faithful husband. And a lot of these men are doing that, and then they find there's a lot of conflict in the relationship where a lot of the men are telling the women, this is what I kind of want out of my wife to support me. But a lot of the women are saying, look, I'm this independent woman. And this, well, I think we saw in the video, there's a lot of conflict between that. So I guess the topic I want to discuss tonight, MC Carl, with you, do you think that modern women today know how to be a good wife? And so I think that's the conversation we need to be having. And of course, you have very extensive 25 years of experience being with a good man, and you have kids with. So I want to start off with that. So what's your reaction to that video? And of course, what's your thoughts on the topic for tonight? Do modern women know? Do they know how to be a good wife to a good man? Go ahead. It's all you.
Is the mic on? Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of girls are going to hate me for this. A lot of girls, but I'm going to start off the bat. I do not think like most women. I am also raising my girls to learn, cook, clean, because guys do have expectations just as much as women do. And if my girls don't know how to cook, that's going to reflect on how I raised my girls. So I do believe we do need to learn, already have to cook, clean. It's just for me growing in a Mexican environment where my mom taught me and my mother-in-law actually, if you don't know how to cook, what are you going to feed them? what are you going to feed the kids? Is he going to be the one cooking? No. Men, they work, they help take care of the kids and everything, but we should know how to cook, clean, take care of the kids and everything, because it's already in our nature. We should already come prepared, because if we do want a decent man, they are going to have their expectations, and those are valid. We have to take into consideration that they also have needs and what they're looking for. And if we don't bring that to the table, then we're not what they're expecting to get, and we're not what they were thinking in their mind we were going to be. So yes, I do believe that women should already know how to cook and clean.
Okay, all right. So, I know a lot of women are gonna hate that. Gonna hate that, right?
I
So,
know.
especially the very modern, the career-oriented women. So, let me ask you this question: why do I have my thoughts on it, but why do you think you talked about expectations? You talked about expectations, how men have expectations and women have expectations, and for me, that's fair, right? Men and women have expectations, but why do a lot of women, in your opinion, based on what you've seen and what you've experienced, why do they find it really really hard, um, and that men have expectations too? And if a man asks her, hey, do you mind? Can you cook for me? Can you clean for me? They find it. They have this, I guess, ideology that it's like slave work, or it's something that's oppressive. Oh my God, that's so devaluing my worth as a woman, that you want me to cook and clean. I'm not your slave. And I think when I talk to men, and especially the good men, not the toxic tyrant and weak men, the good men are just saying like, hey, we appreciate that. We appreciate you work, cooking and cleaning and raising my kids. And a lot of the good men are saying, I can't do that. That's something I found value in. I try to do my best as a man to provide value to you and to my family, but I value coming into a nice, stable home, a good, loving home, a good atmosphere. The woman knows how to make a house a home. I love coming to my children; they're all taken care of. I love it when you cook and clean, and I've had a hard days of work, and I come to your cooking and your cleaning. I just a lot of men say like, we value that, but why is it? It's gone to that point where now it's no longer seen something that it's equally valued, but seen something that's like considered a slave work or oppressive, that no man should tell me to cook and clean. What's your thoughts about that, MC Carroll?
Social media. Social media. They're getting their ideas from social media. That's not reality. Right? When you get in a relationship, that's when reality is going to sink in, like, okay. And they're still going to say, I'm not your slave. We're not slaves. We do it because we want to. We If we want a great relationship, then we both should bring something to the table, both as just equally the same. If he's going to do the work like all day, why not just, it's not that hard to take care of the kids. Like, I've been a stay-at-home mom, I want to say since full time since 2011. I don't find it as slave work. My kids are not my, like, a job, or me taking care of my husband. That's not a job. If I get to see him walk in and he gets a smile and he's like, oh, what is that? Like, it smells good. You get joy in seeing his face, his reaction, or when the kids just run to their dad, or vice versa, if the dad stays at home and the mom's the breadwinner, and it's like that joy you get to see, it's your reward. But now girls are like, no, I am not going to do that. I am so independent. If that's what they're looking for, then I'm not the one for them. They need to go look somewhere else.
Well, what's your thoughts to the women that say, you just said it. You just said it right now. I'm strong and independent. I don't want to cook and clean. One thing I always have to explain to a lot of women, that the things that we look for in a relationship are totally different, because biologically men and women are different. There's certain things that men look for that's totally different. But I think that sometimes in Western society there's this assumption that we look for the same things. you know. So a lot of women, they like a man that's a good provider, protector, a good leader that has a good job to be able to provide stability to the family. And oftentimes, I think when I have conversation with a lot of the modern women, that um, that sometimes you guys have a problem with on the live chat in
Yes, yes.
in the past. One of the hardest things for them to understand that we don't look for the same things. You look for strong, independent. You're attracted to strong, independent, ambitious, and a career-oriented man that has good stability. But the men are saying like, we just want a woman, a feminine woman. We want a woman that takes care, of my house, that takes care of me, that feeds me, gives me, gives me, that clothes me, and just make sure I feel appreciated, and we enjoy, our physical and then emotional intimacy. That's it. That's all. That's all we want. So, I guess in your experience, when you you've I'm sure you've seen women. I'm sure you've seen men. Can you explain to the women that no, men have different things they look for? Like, it's not. Is it the same? Is it the same? What do you think?
I agree with you. You guys don't ask for much. Actually, we're the ones who ask for, from my experience, I think we ask for the most. And guys just, you guys are easy. You guys just want to be fed. Like you said, you guys just want to clean home. And if you see your kids like, oh, hi, and you see them in like good clothes, or they're just happy to see you, then okay, like, okay, I feel good. I feel good. You guys don't ask for nothing but the basics. And if a girl can just do the basics, then where did we go wrong here? Where, where was the person that I thought I was gonna get? I thought we were gonna be like here, not like this.
Yeah.
What is this? We want this. So those girls that just, no, that's his job. And if he wants, he could go cook something. He has hands, he has legs.
Yeah.
That's what we could do for them. We could do that for them. They just came from working in the hot sun hours. We can at least do that.
Hmm.
Or it, like I've also done where we've both worked. I would still come home, cook and clean,
Hmm.
and take care of the kids. And
Yeah.
then it came to a point where we both started, okay, you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. And we're both going to meet each other in the middle. And that's how it's going to be, because you work and I work, and we are just going to be doing it exactly the same. So for the new generation, I don't know what is going on, but that social media is the ones that are raising these young people.
Yeah, you brought up something, a very good perspective. I think something that we can definitely talk about, could definitely help a lot of women out there. And I've have talked about it before on this podcast that sometimes, you know, back in the past, right, in our parents or great grandparents' days, the the roles were very clear, right? So the man was primarily the breadwinner, and he went in to work to provide for the family, and the woman stayed home. But of course, today's modern times where women can work and they have their own career, where both the men and the woman is working. So at sometimes when I do talk with women who both work with the men, they both pay half the bills. A lot of the times the women would say, you know what, we both work. Why do I have to cook and clean, right? Because he works, I work, so I should not cook and clean, and I expect him to cook and clean. And I think that's where the confusion is. I think, and you brought up a great point. It's all about communication and have an understanding on those roles. But sometimes I do have to explain to the woman, even though that you can work, but I think when it comes to our biology, what we're still looking for, it's for men. Most men don't want to cook and clean. That's just I just have to say it like that. They just don't. They just don't want to cook and clean. It's just like you said. You talked about nature. It's just not within our nature to cook and clean. I mean, I'm not saying that we can't. I'm not saying, of course, we can cook and clean if I was living by myself as a man and there's nobody there. I had to be self-reliant. Of course, I cook and clean for myself. But if I'm in a relationship with a woman, it's just in a relationship dynamic. There's certain things that we want in a relationship from the partner, right? If we're by ourselves, of course, we have to do it by ourselves. It is what it is. But we are in a relationship. For a lot of guys, it's like, I know we're in a relationship. I know we're both working, but I just don't want to cook and clean. I just, So I think for what a lot of women who understand men, I think you brought up a great perspective. I think from what I've seen from talking to men and women who both work and they still find a way to keep their roles as far as masculine and feminine and make the relationship work. I think sometimes when I talk to the woman, they have understanding. I know I work, but I understand that this is what my man wants. This is what my man prefers, and I value that. And I'm gonna cook and clean. Even though we both work, I don't see that as something as a power struggle that we have to compete. We both work because we have a family to feed. I don't see it as something that we have to compare it. But I also understand that my man, likes me to cook and likes to cook and clean. And of course, I'm better at it. Like, I'm better at cooking and cleaning. Why would I want my man to, cook and cook shitty food and we all eat shitty food? Like, it just makes logical sense. So yeah, can you talk about that? Like, you both work, because a lot of women out there say, "Oh, I work too, so why should I cook and clean?" Like, how did you able to cook and to both work, and you still were willing to cook and clean, and you talked about communication. Can you talk more about that for those women who say that, "Oh,
Oh,
I don't need to cook and clean. He has to."
well, I asked, can you get the kids outside to just play for a bit? I got the cooking, I got the cleaning. Can you just take them outside to the backyard, front yard? He's like, cool. I'm like, yes. I would put music on and I'd be like, all right, I'm in my zone. I got this. And by the time we didn't even see it as, okay, we're done. You're done? I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm ready to feed all of you guys. That's it. It didn't
Yeah,
even feel like a chore. I'm like, you took care of the kids. I could hear you guys laughing. That's your bonding time with them. And now we're all going to bond as a family, talk and everything. And it's just communicating. Okay, do you want to take care of the kids or do you want to cook? He knows how to get down in the kitchen too. His mom raised him right. Like, props to my mother-in-law. He knows how to cook. And I don't mind him cooking, but I feel like that's my responsibility to cook. And I love that. And if he's like, okay, today you rest. Like,
yeah,
when I'm like not feeling good or anything, he's like, I got you. Let me see what's in the kitchen, what's in the fridge. I'll feed the kids. You just rest. And I'm like, thank you. I'm like, when I feel a little better, I'll clean after you guys. Just leave the dishes in the sink or whatever, and the kids will help.
yeah,
And that's something I'm teaching my kids too, that they have to listen to both myself and my husband. Like, if we're going to do this, you guys are going to do the cleaning. I need to start teaching them young instead of starting them way later, because then they're going to be like, I never got taught how to do that. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to.
yeah. All right, all right. Let me read some comments real quick. I see TL said, MC Carol, woohoo! What's up, Daniela? Man, I always appreciate you watching on the live show. Yeah, she's on tonight. Finally on tonight. And I think Too Wonderful said, it's the sense of entitlement when a woman first meets a man in modern society, the false expectations and standards that nobody can achieve because there will still be disappointment. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Too Wonderful. Always appreciate you guys. And don't forget, I just posted the public link on the live chat. So if you guys want to jump on, I mean, as you guys can see, we have a lot of room here tonight. A lot of
Yes.
There's not a lot of conflicts or any drama. Like last night, it's free. If you guys want to jump on, be part of a podcast, and to have open discussions tonight, click on that link and definitely jump on and be part of the podcast for tonight. Um, but yeah, but let's go right into to the topic for tonight, MC Carol. So why do you think today? Obviously, we know that today there's a the relationships and divorces, as that video explained, it's pretty high in America. So a lot of people get in relationships, a lot of people get divorced, and of course, majority of divorces, be initiated by women. But why do you think? Why do you think? In your perspective, you've been a wife for 25 years. You have a good experience. You had good morals and upbringing and examples to look for in your life, from your parents, from your in-laws. But what's going wrong? What's going wrong with our young women today? What's going wrong with them? Why are they getting into relationships, and why they get into marriages, and then they just decide, what, this is not what I want, and move on to the next person, like that video was explaining. Why do you know?
They're not going to like my answer.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's because you're looking for what you're seeing on social media. That's not reality. You
Mm,
have to date that person and get to know them better and better and better, and go out and see how the communication is between the two, the spark or chemistry, however you want to call it. If it ain't there from the get-go, just walk away. But for those who stay, those are the ones who they are like, okay, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. But then they start seeing that they did not have the same values, the same point of views. They were expecting somebody else. And it's like, that's why we date. That's why we now they like do the whole let's live together, move in together, and let's see how it is. And if it doesn't work out, cool. But some do end up staying, they get married, and then they get a divorce. Either they get bored or the spark wasn't there, lies start, or you just weren't living up to the standards of what you brought in the beginning and you stopped all that. If you would cook, clean, do all this in the beginning and then you just pulled back, that other, either the woman or the guy, they're gonna see that and they're gonna be like, wait, like that this is not what I signed up for. Like, what happened? Like, I thought we were good. I thought we were doing good. Like, what's wrong? Instead of communication or counseling or anything like that, divorce right away. Because they didn't start off good right off the bat. They didn't get to know each other that well, or they wanted to rush in and they didn't give themselves that opportunity to know the personality and values of that person, and the same for the other. And it's like, if they can't see the qualities now, then don't jump into a relationship. Don't. Or if you're coming from a bad experience from a previous relationship, give yourself the time to heal so you can become a better person. But self-love, you have to start that if you end up getting a divorce or something else. Self-love first. That way you can love your next spouse and you can offer the better version of yourself. And then who knows, that other person, you guys could be exactly right here. Exactly right here.
So what's your? So I guess what's your? You being a wife for you have a lot of experience being a good wife. Well, what's your? I guess for if the woman out here, there's a lot of women out there struggling to not only attract good men, attract a husband, but a lot of them struggle even when they find the men they want. They struggle, being that wife for them. So, in your opinion, like what are the, I guess, basic things a woman should have if they want to be a good wife? Like what, in your opinion, being a wife?
Don't come off strong. Do not come off strong off. Like, don't come off strong right away because you're going to scare the person away. Let them see the real you, your heart, your personality. Let them be vulnerable for a little bit so they can see who you truly are. Don't be strong and be like, nah, you know what? I'm getting a different vibe. No, let him in or let her in, and you're going to show him, oh, wow, okay. Or you're going to show her like, hey, I like that about that person. I think I can keep going out with you. And if the vibe is like going strong, then this is definitely going to work. And our communication skills are amazing, like right off in the beginning, and it will go good. But if you come on strong and you just, whether it's a guy being a machista or a girl being like, oh, like I'm independent, let me see, like, is it that time to like, no, I don't think you're what I wanted. Don't do that. At least give it a go. Give it a try. Give it a try. And you will see if you like that other person. And a lot of times when you give them the time in the day, they turn out to be the one. But when you say, nah, and you see them happy with somebody else, they always say, that's the one that got away.
Yeah.
But that could have been you. That could have been you if you could have shown that from the beginning.
So you said don't come off strong. I know we were talking before on the podcast. A lot of women out here like, I'm gonna be strong, independent.
No, no.
Does that work? Why doesn't that work when you go into a relationship with a masculine man? Why doesn't that strong, independent attitude or mentality doesn't work for masculine men? What's your thoughts on that? All the women out there.
That's what guys want to see in the beginning. I don't think a guy's gonna want to be like, okay, she's like so independent, like she's all about herself, she can do it for herself, then why does she need me? Where do I come in? Like she's just saying this and that, me. Girl or guy, like let's bring it back a little and let's get humble and let's see if we can make this work. To not be like, I can do this, I can do that, and no man's gonna tell me what to do because I was raised differently and da 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 da.
Yeah.
No, just relax, take a breather, scope each other out. You never know what you see in that other person. Meanwhile, you guys are talking, you're going to get to see and hear each other, and that chemistry will spark. It will be there. But just don't be like, I can do this on my own. I don't need no man. I don't da 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 da. No, I don't think a man wants to hear that. And if I was a man, I don't think I would want to hear that. I'd be like, well, then I don't think you need me. Why are we on a date if you are self-sufficient? I don't think you need me at all.
Yeah, I always have to explain when I talk to women, that when I talk to most men, especially masculine men, that masculine men, they say they just love a very feminine woman. We like a woman being soft, being nurturing, being caring, being kind, being compassionate. That's something that we value and we're attracted to. Because when a woman is, I think from the men's, when I talk to men, when a woman is strong, independent, just like me, I'm like, am I dating a man? That's
See?
how we internalize. Like, okay, you're strong, independent. All right, cool. Like, I'm looking for a woman. I'm not looking for a man. So, in your experience, like, good, but but if you tell a woman today to be feminine, to be submissive,
Oh, they're going
to
to hate it. They're going to be like, I
hate
don't
that,
care. That you can keep your opinion to yourself and you can say that to yourself. That's not me.
yeah. But in your experience, like you said, can you talk about that in your marriage, or like being a feminine woman, and how your husband reacts to your femininity and how that works in your relationship?
he I never used to wear dresses for the life of me. I was always in pants, like jeans and shorts. Like I was a tomboy. But
Yeah.
then I would see his face when I would wear a dress, when I started learning about makeup, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's smiling like big. And my kids are like, okay, we don't want to see that. But that makes me feel warm inside because I'm like, oh my goodness. Even when we go out, I'll put on makeup, a nice dress, and he's like, you look so nice. And that boosts my confidence. Like, do I really look good? I'm like, if he's saying I look good, then I look good. And then if my kids verify it, we're good. I feel good in this dress. Because if my
Yeah.
man can still, after this amount of years, could still look at me the same way he did when he met me, and he's saying I look good in this dress, then I look good in this dress.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's a good. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, because like that's something that when I talk to a lot of guys, like I mean, I have nothing wrong with. I don't have a problem if you want to be strong, independent. That's what you want to do for your life. But if you want to attract a masculine man, like we want to, we like to see we like to see you, like nice and beautiful. We like to see that, we want to see that in a woman. We want to see that feminine side. And I think that it's the conversation that a lot of women said, what, why can't you just accept me for being masculine? And I'm like, I don't. No, that's true. We don't have to accept it. We'll just move on and find a more feminine woman.
Yes.
So it's always interesting when you have that conversation. So I see Drolix on the live chat. I think Drolix had a comment on the live chat. They said the women should keep saying that it is a sign of who to avoid. Modern women are advertising who they are, and that's just fine with us guys. All right. Everybody, thank you for everybody on the live chat. I always appreciate you guys, and don't forget, if you guys want to jump on, definitely jump on and be part of the podcast, and of course, let me know what you guys think. Always appreciate you guys on the live chat. So also, I want to dive into, we talked about being a good wife, but I want to talk about like attracting a husband, right? So a lot of women to say they want a husband, but for some reason, a lot, especially in today's casual dating culture, casual sex, just having fun, and having promiscuity is empowered today in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women are just saying, you know what, we're all the good men at. We're all the good men at. I can't. No one wants to be a husband. No man wants to take care of the children. No man wants to step up. And I have my opinion about it. A lot of men were just saying, you just chose the wrong man. It's
I
just what
agree.
a lot of guys think. No, there's some good men out there. There's some good husbands out there. There's some good fathers out there.
There
Uh,
are. There are.
and yeah, and just as much as there's some good women out there as well, and good wives out there.
Exactly.
But I think a lot of the men say they chose a bad choice. So but what's your thoughts on that? Why do you think a lot of women today, modern women today, find it really really hard to attract good quality husband material men?
Either they just want a friend with benefits for a while, and then after they have a certain experience, then they want to settle down.
Mm.
But that's not what was going on in the beginning when they were just going out, casual dating, just being spontaneous, like you said. Um, the way I think to find a good man, spend time with that person. If you find a guy and you like what their personality is right off the bat, it's not bad if the girl says, "Hey, like, can I get your number? Can we hang out sometime?" That that's in right now. You don't have to be shy and be like, "Hey, like, can I hit you up sometime? Like, I like your vibes. Like, can we hang out?" And who knows, you might get your prince in shining armor right there. Or on a dating site, I'm not big on that, but I have heard of people finding their soulmates on that.
Mm.
But I find the apps that they're just hit it and quit it and go your separate ways. If you want to find a man, you're not going to find it in the app. You're not going to find it how it is on IG, TikTok, or stuff like that. You need to go put yourself out there, date appropriately in the correct way. And if you see a guy, that's if they're not with a girl. Please, if they're with a girl, first ask like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you. My name's so and so. Who's this lovely woman or this beautiful girl?" And some men do say the truth, and they do say, "Oh, that's just a friend of mine, X, Y, and Z." There's your chance, girl. Take it. Take your chance. You could also be the person to be like, "Can I get your number? Do you see us talking? It would be so cool, like, to talk to you, or go out for coffee, dinner, lunch." Throw yourself out there, and you never know. Maybe you find that husband of yours that you've been looking for. But don't come on strong. Do not do that.
Yeah, be feminine. I see you, BL17. Say, what's going on, Will? Hey, what's up, brother? Thank you for jumping on the live chat. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being on here tonight. You said something that I think I'm curious what that meant. I think you said that date appropriately and the correct way. I have an idea what that means, but I wanna ask what is that? What can you elaborate that? What do you mean by dating appropriately and the correct way? What do you mean by that?
Guys and girls, but mainly girls, are just dating for either this or
Hmm.
this. No, don't go for this for how they look, because the looks and the money is not who they are. They can fool you. They can fool you. And then you're going to get a big surprise if that's who you're going to start dating. And you're not right there, you're not dating correctly. If you're just going to be like, okay, or dating multiple people at the same time, that is wrong. Don't do that either. Do not do that. That is not the correct way. And do not portray yourself as, well, I have my options open. You are not the only one. I have
Mhm.
that guy waiting for me, that guy waiting for me. If you don't work out, guess what? You're not the only one in line.
Yeah.
Don't ever say that to a man. That is a wrong thing to say to a man.
Why do you think that's not the best? That's not a good thing to say to a man, in your opinion. Why do you think?
You're going to make them think, why is she saying that? Why is she saying this to me? Like, okay, now my brain is going to start working. Like, do I really want to go out with her again?
Mm.
I don't think so. So a guy's brain starts working automatically off the first impressions. First impressions are so like key and very important. Portray yourself the way you want them to truly see you. So let them see the real you, not the fake person that is, oh, like when you get a phone call and you hear that fake voice, like we all know that voice when you're answering the phone, we all have that fake voice. You don't want that in the real world when you're dating and you're faking the funk. No, 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 no. Just date appropriately. Don't go out dating multiple people. Don't go out dating just to go sleep around. No. Can we like date one person and if you want to sleep around, okay, one person, not multiple, not no, like I find that so wrong and I find that that's disrespectful to the other person.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I think BL17 said she seems very wise. 100. And I think Dralik said a lot of women have met Mr. Right already, but they chose to be with Mr. Right now, and Mr. Right has long moved by the time they want to date appropriately. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think for me is whenever I um hear people said they date multiple options. Well, in my perspective, that if we're in a dating phase, we're just trying to get to know each other. Um, I think for me, I just don't have a problem if they are seeing somebody else, because I think in dating phase, it's not really there's not really a commitment to it. I think that's just a phase where we have to get to know each other. So, but I think for me is like if it, if you're doing it with two three people, I think I don't see a problem in my perspective, because I think it's good to date and see what your options out there and just know that the differences between men. I think sometimes, if in my opinion, if you say you only want to date one guy, you don't know that there's other guys out there that may be better if one person is only or your only focus. How do you know that that's because sometimes I think compatibility is really really important. I think that you have to be compatible with your partner. There's people out there that are very blessed like you. You happen to find somebody that, and you guys just make it with just one time and you made it work. But I think in this modern world, I think compatibility is a good thing. I think it's good just to see somebody, and if they're more compatible with them, then I think it's going with them. But I think I don't buy, but I think 2 or 3 for me is my limit. But when I see somebody that's like, oh, I date 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 20, for me, that just sounds like you're just playing games.
Yes, or when they're texting and they're on a date with you. Don't do that either.
Exactly. So I think for me, it's like, because I know like if we're gonna build something, it takes a lot of time and commitment and investment. So it's impossible to build something very strong between a person if your time and energy is divided between 8, 9, 10 people, right? But I
Mhm.
think for me, it's just like, oh, I don't mind if we're in a dating. I just met you today, and we're going on a date tomorrow, and you tell me, but I find out later that you had a date maybe last week you had a date with another guy. I want to be a problem with that, because nothing. I just met you. We're still in our dating phase. We still try to get to know each other, and I'm sure she's trying to find the best compatible person for her. But I think I think over 3, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That to me just becomes like a game that you're just you have other reasons, and I don't even know you. Maybe you're intimate with the other guys. Maybe you're not intimate with me, and I'm gonna look like a weirdo. I'm look stupid. I'm taking you out on dates, and you're and paying for all these dates, and you're being it's physically intimate with all these other guys that I don't know about. So I have to make sure that I'm not being played by this woman. But I do agree. Like once you find somebody that you're very compatible with, you really focus your attention with them and build something great. But I wanted to ask you about, because you said date appropriately. We're in the age of social media, and I know you said that social media was one of the biggest problems when it comes to dating and relationships today. A lot of things I do notice uh, when it comes to social media is the way women dress today. It's very provocative. It's not as conservative. as before. So what's your thoughts on, like, sometimes I do hear a lot of women where they would say, you know what, I want a traditional man, I want a traditional husband, but then I look at their social media profile, all I see is their butts and their and their and their body and their woman bodily parts, right, just out there for the world to see. And I'm like, I don't think that was what traditional women did back in the day. So
Mm-mm.
I was fine. So I was like, I don't think if you post your body this way, if you dress this way, I don't think you're gonna attract a very conservative, traditional man. I think you're gonna attract the modern men who just want to have fun and play games. And of course, men biologically we're very attracted to sexual things in women. So when we see a woman that just posting images of herself like that and portray herself that way, the first thing we come to our mind is like, no, wife. The first thing that comes to our mind is somebody we just have fun with, and then we move on. All right.
Yeah.
But sometimes a lot of women would say, oh, I want a husband, I want a traditional man, but I can still dress this way, even though it is kind of inappropriate if you are talking about a traditional role, a traditional relationship. So what's your thing? What's your thoughts about that? You see a lot of women out today, they could just dress however they want, they could just show whatever they want, but they still expect to find a good man and a good husband that's going to value her and treat her well and not sexualize her. What do you think?
Now with that, it's hard because I do promote like waist training, like
Yeah,
stuff, like fajas and stuff, and my husband knows about it. And first of all, I do talk to him like I started promoting this, and this is what's gonna be on my IG page. But I'm also not gonna let guys slide into my DMs and be like, "Oh, hey, can I?" No, block. I respect myself enough to be like, I'm married,
mm,
or I have a boyfriend, or I'm dating. This is what I do on the side. This is not who I am. What you see on my social media does not describe me as a person. You're just seeing what I want you to see. And if I wanted to dress how I see girls dressing, it wouldn't go with me because I'm not used to it. I'm not used to it. Like I barely started getting used to wearing dresses. And they're so adorable, but then you have your girls where they go out and with these little the most minimal clothing, most minimal. And I'm just like, ah, no, 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 no. Guys are gonna automatically think, like you said, their mind is in one thing only, and that is it. And it's like, do you want him to portray you as what you're wearing? So what you see is what you get. That's what I'm gonna get.
yeah,
So what I see on your social media, is that what am I gonna get too?
yeah,
And then once if they give you the opportunity to like, let's go on a date, they're gonna be like, why are you so different from all this than right now?
mm,
It could either be they're faking the funk, they're faking it, and they're putting up a front for you. And that's unfortunate because I say always show your true colors in the beginning.
mm,
Always. And dress appropriate, the most appropriate you can. I'm not saying my husband tells me what to wear and what not to wear.
yeah,
If he thinks that it's like, you're married, you're a mother of three, you're 37, I don't think that would be like good for you to wear out. But if you're with me, you know what? I don't mind.
yeah,
Me myself, I would feel weird if he told me, no, you're not gonna wear that. And what do? I said, no, F it. I'm gonna wear it. No, respect what he's telling you. He's telling you for a reason, because if you're thinking, oh, I'm hot, I look this, I look like that. Once you walk out that door, trust me, wherever you're going, there's one thing that man's gonna think when
yeah,
you go out there. And you're gonna be like, he told me before I left the house, don't put that on. And it's not that he tells me what to wear. He loves it when I wear stuff like that. And I love that about him. He used to, and I'm gonna be straightforward with everybody. My
mm,
marriage has not been just all good. Like I said, I've known him since I was 13.
mm,
So when I was younger, he did tell me what to wear, but because I was that tomboy. So he'd be like, okay, wear nicer blouses, wear this, wear that. We had our bad days, like bad days where we would clash because we didn't always have the communication we have now. So what he said, what that's what was gonna happen. That he was the typical Mexican machista. But then throughout the years that we were together, he started changing, and mainly because we had two daughters, and he doesn't want his daughters to think that that's okay. That's how they should be treated.
Mm,
No, be free to express yourself however you want to dress, but appropriately. And
mm.
if you're gonna go out with your spouse, and if your spouse allows you to wear that, girl, wear the hell out of that dress. Wear that outfit with confidence, and your spouse is gonna be like, she's with me. Yep, yep. Because that's what my daughter's boyfriend tells me. I am so proud to take her out in where I'm at. Oh, you have a beautiful girlfriend. And my husband's like, yep, that's my wife. That's my wife. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. But if we were dating, like I said, it was not all good, you guys. It's not. I'm not gonna say or sugarcoat. I have the most perfect marriage. Now I can say that. Like, we're good. We're at a place and time where if I tell him, hey, you know what? Wear this because it looks you look handsome. You just got a haircut. You're wearing this. I'm like, I'm feeling like so attracted to you right now. Like, you look good. Let's go. Let's do this. And he's like, really? Like, you really think I look good? And he's like, and I will tell him, hey, you look amazing. And he will tell me the same thing. Getting complimented by your spouse is so good. And when they tell you it doesn't look appropriate, just understand it's coming from a good place, not because they want to downgrade you or anything, but that's in my home. In other relationships I've seen, that is controlling. Like for me in the beginning, he did
Yeah.
control what I wore. I'm like, no, like that's not okay either. You're not going to control what I say, what I do, or what I wear. Like, we have to meet each other in the middle. And I understand your point of view, and I understand you don't want me to be giving people the wrong impression of myself.
Mm.
And now that I'm 37, I see how I used to act back then to now, and how I used to dress to now. It's so different, so different. So communication is so important. Just open up. And if they're telling you, it's because they see something like, maybe you probably shouldn't wear that, babe, because you're going to give the wrong impression. And I'm just trying to look out for you. A lot of girls, that's why when they go out to have a drink or two, there's some men that when I've gone out with my comadre Becky, there's
Yeah.
some men that don't respect you anymore
Yeah.
because they see what you're wearing. They
Mhm.
don't respect that. And one time we went, because it was our first time going out as just by ourselves. We didn't know what to wear. So we wore jeans and a nice blouse. And then we saw everybody and we're like, I feel so out of place. Like, did we come dressed appropriate? And I'm like, I think I did. Like, I'm not also gonna go be showing off everything. Like, I'm not gonna impress anybody. But I know I look okay. I look good. Like, so why am I gonna go out there and go show my legs, my this, or my like? That's for my husband to see. And when we go out together, he loves to like, that's my wife. That's my wife. And I'll be the same way. That's my man right there. He looks hot.
I know CBL17 said, yeah, like I said yesterday, MZ Carol 626, may God bless you with another 24 years of happiness. You're an inspiration to the girls out there.
Thank you. I hope so. I hope so. And I hope they don't take what I say the wrong way. I mean it like I bring it up from a good place in my heart. And trust me, it was not always good, girls. It was not always good. And it was not always like rainbows and unicorns, like girls want it now. No, it was like this. And now we're at a point in our lives where I love it so much. Like, we have an amazing time. Yeah, we'll have an argument here and there, but like, I'll go up to him to him and be like, okay, I think we need to talk. Like, where did we go wrong? And then he'll tell me his part, and then I'll say my part, and we'll apologize to each other because know when to admit when you were wrong. That's something we also have to learn, to admit when we were wrong. If we did something wrong, we have to learn how to admit and how to apologize. A lot of girls do not like to be wrong. A lot of girls don't like to apologize either. We're either right or we're either right. And we shouldn't think like that.
No, I think just for the when I talk to a lot of men, I think for a lot of men, we're just very territorial by nature, to be very protective of our women. And I think the reason why I think a lot of men uh, kind of worry about how how their partner will dress is because we understand how men are. We know how other men are. The men are savages when it comes to when they see a very beautiful, and especially a woman that is dressed very sexually. So we know that if I'm not around, like I said, I think if I'm there, I think if the men say if I'm there, I don't have a problem. She could be dressed whatever she wants because I'm there to to make sure I protect her from any weirdos out here trying to holler at her. But if she's by herself and she dresses that way, I know for a fact that men don't care if you're married or not. They're gonna approach you. They're gonna say some things at you. They're gonna take your shot. And I think I just don't want to put you in that situation. All right.
Yes.
I think that's just. I think a lot of women don't understand. I think sometimes women would say, "Oh, you're trying to control me." No, not. Of course, there are men out there very controlling. Of course, I understand that there are guys out there, but I think for the most men that we know that men are the other men, the other guys out there may not have the best intentions for you. So we're just trying to protect you from those guys, and yeah, and of course, like we just we kind of value we value what a woman has, and then we just it's just I think it's just the men we just don't want that for other men to see. I guess that's just something we want to reserve for ourselves. Something that we share intimately in our relationship.
Yeah.
Other men seeing it. I think that's just how men think, and I know women may disagree with it and may not understand it, but that's just how men see it and think. But I think I want to ask you this. I know you said that people reach out to you on your DMs because I've had this discussion before with other people on the podcast, and you said that if guys DM you, that you just block it, right, out of the respect for your man. Um, if a woman accepts the DM and responds to the man, what are your thoughts about that?
Seeking attention, but it's the wrong type of attention.
Hmm.
Wrong type of attention. I wouldn't, because I've gotten a lot of rude, disrespectful men. And I'm like, I may not post about my relationship, but I'm letting you know right now, I'm married. If I choose not to post my husband, it's because it's my social media where I promote my makeup, my other things. I share my kids on my stories here and there, but my husband is my privacy. But I will
Mhm.
let you know, I'm married. I'm not going to lie to a man.
Yeah.
And like, I know my social media is mainly just me.
Mm.
And it was because I used to do makeup for weddings and quinceañeras and all that. So the lady that I was working with told me, I recommend you take all that family stuff down. Make yourself a profile for your family and one just for your stuff. And that's where they'll hit me up, and I'll even share it with my husband. I'm like, look at this guy. Are you
Yeah.
seeing this? Like, and he's like, that's just because they assume. I'm like, well, they need to stop assuming, because I just told them a piece of my mind respectfully. And I tell them respectfully, this is what I think. And you have the wrong one, because
Mm.
I'm not going to sit here and entertain whatever it is you want to be entertained with. So block any future things. And I have an app where I know when they can make other fake profiles and try to contact me again. No, I'll get that on Facebook, on Messenger, on my Snapchat, on the IG, the DMs. No, that's not okay. And my husband, well, also, he has girls sliding into his DMs and he laughs. He's like, babe, what do you think about this? I'm like, they can try. But we're so honest that it's like, really? We're going to do this? No, like, I don't know who you think he is, but he doesn't have a lot on his social media. So, what are you seeing? Because on his profile picture, he has my son. So I'm
Yeah.
like, and then he has our family. So you are attracted to married men or taken men. And guys are attracted to taken women as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you just be respectful on how you're speaking? Just be respectful. Don't approach us in the wrong way because that is nasty. Like, we don't need dick pics. We don't need you to be texting us in a sexual way. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm 37 years old. Honey, you are too late. Too late. There's probably another girl that would be interested because this is the type of attention that they're looking for. That's not the attention I'm seeking. The attention I'm seeking is from a man. That is it.
I know. Yeah. I think I had a conversation with somebody, and they were saying that if you date a modern woman today who doesn't really have the traditional morals and values. In the past, if I grew up in this time in this generation with the dating ideologies and the dating values today, and she has a social media, and then she constantly reads the DMs. They were saying that I think for a lot of in our conversation, they were just saying, "Oh, that's a red flag," because if you're in a committed relationship and you're satisfied with the relationship, you don't open messages from other people that's trying to slide in your DM, right? Unless it's something it's business related, something that's related to something like an opportunity or something for your career. That's understandable. But I think they're just saying if the girl constantly accepts the DMs and writes back and has a conversation, they're just saying, I don't know. It's
There's a
probably
problem. Big
that
red
may be,
flag.
that may be a problem. That may be a problem. I think I saw somebody post on Twitter. Somebody posted that if a girl's in a relationship and you're sliding your DM and she responds to you, she's not in a relationship because she's giving you
Mm-mm.
time, she's giving you attention, you know. So it was an interesting conversation to have, and yeah, I know you like you said, you're in a relationship you're happy with. You just see somebody that's trying to slide, you just block. Um,
Yeah.
but like I said, if they're talking to you, I just see that may be something you want to be concerned about. I see BL17 said Will is absolutely correct. Men are very protected by nature, especially when it comes to loved ones. Yeah, yeah. So how do you? I know you said you have kids and you have a daughter. Like how do you? Of course she grew up in this time in this generation with social media with everything that's been posted about relationships of in society. Like how are you able to like protect her and teach her your values and the things that you do for yourself that has worked for you, so that way she can apply that for her own life. But how do you protect her from those women out there saying you need to be strong, you need to be independent, you don't cook and clean. How do you protect her from becoming like that?
And it is so funny that you touched that subject. She does get that, the oldest one and the
Yeah,
middle one, because
yeah,
my oldest is 21 and my middle one is 16. I give props to my 16-year-old because her mindset is if she was an adult already. She's just, I'm all about school. Mom, I know the drill. Guys just want to get in girls' pants and they want to sweet talk to you. And once they get what they want, they're going to leave us. No, I'm saving myself for the right man that's going to treat me right the way my dad treats you and the way you brought us up. We ain't that easy and it ain't gonna be that easy to get to us. And my middle one, since she already had one failed relationship, that was the example I used for her. I said, see, this is not what you want again. Do not go for this, go for that again. Now with the new boyfriend that she has, it is like day and night, and she
mm,
doesn't know how to act. She's like, Mom, like, he treats me so good, and I could see it in her face. I could see the difference from her past boyfriend to now. I see how happy she is, and I tell her, okay, now remember what your dad told you and remember what I have said. Please don't be lazy. Please communicate with your boyfriend and tell him and show him, and she can chef it up in the kitchen. Her mother-in-law actually is like, You know how to cook, clean? Yes, ma'am. My daughters, they can do all that and they can be affectionate. I'm raising my kids to be tough and be fighters, even when it's not always going to be rainbows and all these things. Just learn how to work through that rough patch. Talk to each other. Let him tell you how he feels about that situation, and then you speak your mind and then come to an agreement. My middle one, she's not ready for a boyfriend. She's like only 16, but I know most girls her age are dating.
Mm.
But she's the one that says no because I already know the drill. I want to do school first. Maybe in the future, if a guy comes up to me and talks to me correctly, he has to meet my dad first. That's
Mm.
what my daughter says. He has to meet dad first. If my dad tells me, you know what, mija, there's something in him that I really don't like, but it's just this one thing. I'm telling you from personal experience, and because I'm not just your dad, I'll be your friend, and because I'm gonna give you a man's perspective as well. So I like the fact that my husband does have a big impact in how they act and how they're looking for a future spouse. So my daughter, thank God she's happy. And my husband and I will tell her, don't mess it up by not communicating with each other. Communicate. Don't be like your generation now. I don't want to talk about it. He pissed me off or she pissed. No, like, or I could hear all of them already because when I go pick up my kids from school, I hear the teenage girls. Well, I broke up with so and so and I got with this person now. And I'm like, Mama, is she with somebody different now? Is he? Oh, Mom, they bounce from boy or girl just like that. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I just want to make sure that ain't gonna be you. And that middle one, she's spicy. Whoever gets her, they need to know she has a character, but she has a oh my goodness, I love the way my kids are. All of them, they have their little phases, but one thing, they have a major heart, and that is thanks to their dad because he has a heart of gold. He will take off his shirt to give it to somebody that needs it, or he's also teaching them if you see somebody that actually needs help and if you can provide that help them out, be that person that can make that person's day. So I'm like, what more can I ask for? My girls already know how they should act and how not to act. And because that's going to be a reflection of how my husband and I brought them all up. If my son in the future, when he gets older, he's 12 and he starts, well, I have a girlfriend. Then he brings me another one and then another one. I'm going to be like, I'm going to pump your brakes and I'm going to have a serious conversation with you and your dad because this is not going to happen. You are not going to break girls' hearts. That's not how we raised you. And you need to understand that this generation, that's not what we're working with. We're working with what's worth it, the values. And I'm raising a nice young man that can be a good man for a future wife. And he could be a good husband for that future wife. And that the in laws are going to be like, oh, wow, this boy is different. I want him to still have the qualities. All my kids, I still want them to have the qualities from how we were raised. Because if we were to go with today's expectations, I don't think my kids would be how they are. I don't think that at all. I think they would be with spouses that are no bueno, no bueno.
Yeah, well, I mean, even for me, I mean, when I do have a family and I do have a daughter, I sometimes I think about it. Do I want my daughters to be dating at a very young age, especially in high school? Because I do see that sometimes for a lot of women, when women get into relationships, they're very emotionally invested, and then for a lot of women, if you keep going into relationships and it keeps failing, it can cause a lot of psychological and emotional trauma for you, and then you might start, becoming like the women on my podcast. Oh man, they're the same.
No, they're not. Just like not all
All
women
right,
are the same.
right. But so I think, and then sometimes they'll have a very negative perspective and relationships of how they see men, and that may be a barrier for them to kind of move on with their life and be able to attract um, a good man. But yeah, what are your? I mean, I know you have daughters, but like, what are your thoughts on I think if you ask me this question, like, would you allow your daughter to date right now, even though I don't have kids? I was no, hell no, my daughter would never date. But I think I've been I do understand that we have to be able to communicate not only with our partner, but we have to communicate with our children, especially be understanding of the times. Things are different. It's not the same. It's not 1950 like in 40 like our parents' times. It is 2022, and they're gonna go into an environment where everybody's dating. So it's only natural for kids to like, oh, everybody's doing it. Like, why can't I do it? And of course, we're all human beings. We get attracted to the opposite sex, and we're gonna have some feelings. Sometimes we see a good looking girl, looking guy, and there are examples of people like yourself, meeting somebody at 13 years, 14 years old, and things work out good and turn out really really well. So, but what's your but in today modern day 2022, dating starts at a very young age. A very young age. I think I've seen. I saw one of my family members. I think they're like elementary school. They already have a boyfriend or girlfriend in elementary school.
I don't even
I
know
remember
what
back.
it is.
I know, but I remember back in my day when I was in elementary school, I was still playing climbing trees and playing with trucks and pretending I was a superhero. I didn't even think about girls when I was in elementary. But hey, times are changing because of social media. But what do you think in general? Do you think that individuals today, and let's talk about women because we are talking about women. Do you think women today should? It's better for them to wait. I think your middle daughter, you said that she said, what, I'm gonna wait it out, make sure that I find a very deserving man, a good man like my father, and take her time with it. I know in today's social media age, everything's pushed about fast, fast, fast,
Yeah.
going to relationships. And sometimes people, there is this social media, this is social pressure that if you're alone and then you're unattractive, right? A lot of people feel, oh, everybody's dating and I'm not dating and nobody, and they may feel, oh, maybe something's wrong with me, maybe I'm not undateable. But I think but like I mentioned before on the podcast when we had a conversation, um, one of the biggest decisions we will ever make in our life is choosing our long term partner and who we decide to have sex with and who we decide to have kids with. And if you mess that up one time, you can have a lot of consequences to you, right? And the thing for me, and I know a lot of people may disagree, but I put a lot more emphasis on women to be more to take more of the accountability because you could get pregnant, right? And you're gonna the guy might leave you, and you have to be stuck with it. So it's not something that you should just give out freely and casually. It's something that you should value and only give up to somebody that is very deserving and have proven themselves to be worth to share that with, and of course to procreate, and create beautiful gifts of life and children. But what are your thoughts about just in general? Do you think ladies today should just wait it out? Be patient, have high standards for yourself. Probably not a good idea to date in high school because we're still kids at the end of the day. You have no experience when it comes to relationships except what you see on the social media. And social media is all bullshit. All right, it
Yes,
is
it
not.
is. Yes, it is.
Of course, that's what I tell this to my nieces and my cousins all the time. Like guys in high school, they're kids. They're still kids too. Like those most guys in high school, they're still kids. They don't have most of them don't have a plan for the future. They never thought about a relationship. So I don't think it's a good idea to date during high school. Maybe college, kind of date to just get some experience. But I think it's definitely not in high school because we're still immature. Like that's and I think most people who most people today they don't end up with their high school sweethearts. Most people today end up with somebody that's not who they did it in high school. So if most relationships for me, just my statistical mindset. If it's not gonna work, if most of your relationships not gonna work out in high school, might as well just wait it out and make sure you be and find a good man. But what's your thoughts about in general, like of women dating at a younger age now? Do you think in your perspective they should wait it out and make sure they find a good man, or like for you, like what's the perfect timing for a woman? Not well, nothing. I don't like to use that word because nothing is perfect in this world. So there should be a perfect timing. But what's the best way for a woman uh, in her life to make that decision for herself, so that way she can attract the best man she can get. That's gonna be a good father and a good responsible man for her.
I think in your 20s, because now if I look back at how when I started dating, like I said, I was 13. We were both kids, so I we both didn't know we were gonna end up this far into it. We didn't know. And we had a kid when we were teenagers. By the time we were 21, we had two. But since we were both raised at old school ways, we both knew what we both wanted. So we both worked. We both helped out. Like, okay, you take, like I had said before, you take care of the kids, I'll cook and clean. But for my kids, I tell them, don't do what mommy did. Don't do that. Do not do it in middle school, in high school. Wait. Like, I love the mentality that my middle one has. She's like, I'm just gonna wait because I know all they want is one thing. I'm not giving them that. I
Yeah,
want to give it to the correct person or who maybe is gonna be my husband, and he deserves that. So I think maybe 20s, like what my daughter is right now, and my nieces. I have three nieces. One is already married. She just turned 22 on the 18th. And she got so lucky and very blessed. She has an amazing father to her daughter. She's going to be 2 years old in December. An amazing husband. And he works and she's going to college. So they both help each other in the middle. They both have the same things like, oh, I'll help you with the baby while you cook or you do your schoolwork. I'll help out, or my nieces will help out as well. My other niece, I believe she's 24. She's dating and stuff. So I think in 20s, that's good for me to start dating. 20s would be a good age.
yeah, definitely not in high school and middle school, right?
No, we had no business playing house at that age. Trust me, I should know. We had no business doing adult things at that. No, but thank God we're still here. We can laugh about it now. But I tell my kids, do not do that. Do not. Just no.
You know what I find very valuable in what you just said right now, and why I respect you even more as we're having a conversation. That and something that I don't see what a lot of modern women would do. That even though you had a child at a very young age, right? And even though it is it is a blessing that because you turned out to be you had kids and you had beautiful kids with, but you're very accountable to tell your kids, you know what, I made that decision, but don't duplicate what I did, right? It's not the best way to do it. There is a better way. And you encourage your kids not to follow in your footsteps. One thing I do notice sometimes when I talk to women, especially single moms, right? They will never take accountability for the decisions that they made in the past. And they will just tell their kids, you know what? I did it. You can do it. Don't listen to other people. And then they never take accountability. And I will never say that a child is every single child, no matter how it's conceived and what time it is, it's always a blessing in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that God gave and created. But like you said, everything. But when it comes to decisions, I think there's always a better way to do it about it. And I think uh, your situation is very rare. It's very rare for somebody to have your situation and things worked out the way it had, and everything's good. And how your husband still loves you, appreciates you, still sees you as beautiful, and appreciates your beauty even today. Something's really rare. But sometimes I do see a lot of women today, especially women who are single moms, that they had children at a very young age, and they made some bad choices in their dating life, but they will never tell their children that they made uh, they never tell their children that they shouldn't follow in their footsteps, but they will tell their children, be like, you know what, I can do it on my own. If I get, I don't need to change. Just follow me and do everything I do. And I think sometimes they get because I know friends who are all like that, and then they make the same decisions, and it repeats itself. So the daughter does the same thing the mom does, gets out the same circumstance, gets the same struggles, and it repeats. But the fact that you were like, you know what, I made my choices. I take accountability for it, but I learned that there is a better way to do it, right?
Yes.
And I'm gonna encourage my kids to make sure, hey, look, mommy did what she did, but there is something. There's a better way to do it, and you're willing to take accountability and tell your kids to do that. But a lot of women I do see today that if you bring that up, yeah, tell you know what, you know what, that was probably not a good choice. They get really defensive. They get really mad, right? And like, do you see that sometimes? Do you see that sometimes? Like women will make some bad
Yeah,
choices.
they all have little discussions where girls will get into arguments because they're like, well, why is your mentality like that? I'm like, look, let's just agree to disagree. I don't think like you do, and you're not going to think like I do. I'm using myself as an example because I don't want my kids to go through what my husband and I went through as kids.
Yeah,
We shouldn't have been doing it from the get. We should have maybe waited, and he even agrees with me. He's like, babe, you know what? We should have waited.
yeah,
And then I also see the other side. Since I got cancer at 29, I'm like, okay, God, like I'm grateful I had my kids young, because now that opportunity is gone forever at 29. So I tell my kids, just don't do what we did. Give yourselves time to go to school. Have fun. Enjoy your childhood and your youth. You do not need a spouse at that age. You don't even know what that is.
yeah,
You
yeah.
don't know what that is. And whatever social media you're watching, it's not like that. Trust me, you guys have grown. My eldest one knows. Oh, I grew up with my mom and my dad. We know it's not like that. Even the middle one got a taste. She's like, you guys are all liars. It is not perfect out there. It is not. By far, it is not. So we know how it is. And the middle one's like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to dedicate to myself to school. And that's why, since I only have one boy, I want to try to the best that my husband can and I can to raise them appropriately, and also how to approach girls the correct way. But
Mm.
I think he also needs to wait on the dating thing. Not just because he's a boy, I'm gonna be like, you go do you, son. No, 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 no. No. He's gonna, because he has two older sisters that are gonna be, they're already overprotective. And I'm like, son, you need to wait. Like, you're too young. You're only 12. Even when you're in high school, please wait. Your time will come when you're in college. You don't know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah.
Or if you start working, you never know who you get to meet in the future.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, let me read some comments real quick. I think 2700 said both men and women should hold off on dating till both are stable, unless you can date correctly and at the same time leveling up yourself. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Shout out to you, 2700. Will said, BL17 said, Will, you should make this wise lady a regular on your podcast. I have a feeling she'll go God mode on the today's misguided souls. Yeah, of course. Yeah, she's definitely gonna be a great asset to this podcast. Definitely enjoying the wise
Thank
feedback.
you.
I know
Thank you.
the wise knowledge and truth she's dropping tonight. It's a lot better than I appreciate this a lot better than having debates with some some
I'm
very
telling you, the
competitive.
way, not to cut you off. I'm not trying to cut you off, Will. Don't get me. We're not going
Thank
that
you.
route. I'm hearing the comments and I feel good. Like, if I can inspire men and women, good. And if you're not taking it the bad way, thank you, because not a lot of women agree with me. I get a lot that just disagree with me. Well, you were raised different. We don't live in that time. I'm like, hello, I'm in 2022 as well, but I'm not gonna portray that to my kids, because I want my son to be a good man,
Yeah.
because I have daughters. What if that would be like, say the parents didn't raise their boy right, and that's who my daughter's gonna get? I don't want
Mm.
that. So I'm gonna raise this young man to be a decent young man, and to the best, like I said, to best of my abilities, and my husband. And he has even talked to him. Look, son, me and mommy got together and we got very lucky. very lucky that we are still together, but it was hard. We had 2 kids already by the age of 21, and it was hard. Sometimes we didn't see each other. The majority of the times we did. We were always out and about with you guys and everything. And then you came along, and that's when we just settled down completely. And it was all about just family, family, family. But a lot of girls, they're like, well, why do you still think like that? I'm like, because you need to give yourself time. If you get out of a relationship, that's not a green light for you to jump into another one. You're not healed yet.
Yeah.
You are not ready for another relationship. Just like a guy, they will call it the rebound. Don't do that to the other person, because what if they do grow feelings and that's your rebound? No. So I don't want that for my son. I don't want that for my daughters. And I wouldn't want my son to be doing that to potentially somebody I know daughter. That's not what I want. I want to send them out into the world and have that mindset that, okay, we know this is okay and this is not okay. So we need to learn how to behave once we go out in the real world. Because reality check, it's not social media. It's not what you see. And I've told that to my kids. What you see is not what you get. Because once you guys are adults and hit that age, you guys are going to see what we were talking about. And I remember when our parents, and I tell them, when my mom used to tell me, you are too little. Now, as a mother, I know what she was telling me. She only wanted the best for me. My in-laws, the same with my husband. You are too young to be a dad. He acknowledges it too. So I say wait, because we have no business in elementary or middle school or in high school to still, like, if we have no business playing house at all. No business. No business. That's not what we're gonna do. Like, well, we're gonna play house and then, oh, I lost it. They left me. We told you. We told you. Like, social media is not your role model. Listen to your parents. And women have to be more open-minded. Not all guys are the same. Trust me, ladies. I know a lot of great men. And not like they're my family members. I know a lot of great friends that are my husbands or myself. There's great men out there. It's same for the guys. There's great women out there. We just have to learn to see it and see the red flags in the beginning. If you can catch that in the beginning, how are you going to make things work? Like, I don't know. Just this new generation of how women are being brought up, whether it's a single parent household or both of the parents are involved, either way, it's the same thing. Just the way the parent raises that child is key to what you're sending out into the world. Don't let them know that it's okay to date at this time, or you could do it. Go ahead. You'll be fine. No. What if something bad happens, or it's an unwanted pregnancy, or it's a abusive relationship? You allowed your kid and you told them, "Oh, it's all right. It's okay." And look at the consequences. Sometimes there could be very horrible consequences. And that is so sad that some modern parents just send their kids and allow them to do whatever they want. We need to put a stop into saying, "Oh, it's all right, baby, you could do it. Go ahead, go ahead." No, because there's a lot of bad things that can happen. Even as you get older, there's still a lot of things that are very bad that can go wrong. And we should not expect the outside world or the social media to raise our kids. We need to raise our kids. We need to stand up, whether I'm a single parent or both parents are involved. We need to learn how to raise our kids, not let social media raise them at all.
Facts. Facts right there. And I see Tinania family. Oh, first time on the live chat. Thank you so much. Said I agree. Hey, shout out to you, Tinania family. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to you. Give you a shout out real quick.
Hey.
First time on the live show. Thank you for being on the live chat. Shout out to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. To Tassia said, Malo Will. Another banger for the youth. Yeah, this is a great conversation. We switch it up. I know we sometimes we have the very crazy podcast with the with the adult ladies, but this is a more peaceful and more open conversation podcast. And I know MC Carol 626. I think she shared that she knows a lot of good women out there in the social circles. So I know there's a lot of guys on this live chat that's looking for good women. So maybe if you're looking for the good women, hit up hit up MC Carol 626.
And trust me, I will tell you straight up, if they do something wrong, I'm gonna let you know myself, because I'm also not gonna have my girls back. So
Yeah, I know there's a lot of single guys on my live chat, man. So if you're looking there for that traditional woman, I'll definitely drop the link for MZ Carol. Maybe you can hit her up and she can play matchmaker for you.
yes.
But you gotta be right. You gotta come correct though. You gotta come correct. You gotta come correct as a man. Make sure you have your shit together before you hit her up. And of course, I see another Tutasi said, I always tell my family and friends how to get on my kids all the streets will. Of course, facts over feelings, man. There's so many things that's going on today's society. Um, I want to ask you. I want to ask you this question. This, because I do see it with the since we're 2,700 brought it up with the youth, right? This is. I know we always have conversations about this on previous podcasts. That especially when it comes to women, they always talk about like promiscuity. That's something that's always talked about in modern society. That's normalized today. A woman shouldn't settle down for one man and save herself for one man. A woman should just go out there. It's okay for women to go out there. If all the men can do it, the the women can do it. And and like I said, for me, I understand that I don't agree with both sides. Even though I know men do it, but I don't agree with it. I think men, you should save yourself. I know you should make sure you commit yourself to one woman because I think it's irresponsible to go and impregnate multiple women and not be able to financially take care of all these women. And also the biggest reason why I'm against that is just the quality of the life of the kids. I think for me, the role of a parent is to make sure that to give your kids a better life that you experience. So whatever struggles that you went through as an individual, if you have kids, you should make sure that they don't suffer the same sufferings you went through. But if your kids suffer the same things that you went through, or they suffer even worse, I think that's something you have to look within yourself as a parent. But I do see sometimes when I talk to women, they always say, oh, guys do it. Why can't I do it? Right?
Because it's not the same.
All right, exactly. It's simple. Like I have to explain. It's not the same, but it's for some reason they have they fail to understand that concept. I'm like, you can get pregnant, the men can't. A man could sleep with 5 women and impregnate all of them, and just abandon all 5 and go restart his life in a different country with a new woman he loves and start a whole new family and just totally disregard the 5 other women he did. And it happens every single day. It is what it is. So, I think for me, majority of the time, if you get pregnant, you're gonna end up left with the baby, and you have to raise it on your own. And I think that's something that's gonna be a very hard life that you have to experience as a woman. I wouldn't want that to any woman. I think the quality of a life of the kid is always best suited if the has a healthy father and mother in the same house, and they both there to raise the children together. But it's also a conversation I always hear a lot of women today. Yeah, I can. If they can do it, I can do it. Um, it's the feminists would say it's liberation, it's freedom. Back in our grandparents only had to be with one man, and they were enslaved and controlled. But now we have freedom to choose, and we can go out there and liberate ourselves. All these partners we want to have, and for some reason they always end up single. Go figure.
Mhm.
But what's your thoughts about that? About the social norm today of society saying that promiscuity is good for women, and it's something that's liberating and empowers women to go about that. What do you think about? What's your thoughts about that?
How does it empower a woman being promiscuous?
That's
I
what they say.
really don't. That's what I don't understand. If I was
Uh,
single and I was promiscuous, how is that empowering myself? That's just
because
making myself look bad.
I think in their mind it's because you're equal to men because you're doing the same thing men can do. That's equality. I think that's what they're.
We're not equal to men. I'm sorry, girls. You're gonna get mad at me again. We are not equal as men. There's in some things okay, but in most things we are not equal to men. That's why Woman, man, different. And in a guy, they got nothing to lose, ladies. Nothing. We're the ones that have to carry that bun in the oven. We have a lot to lose, way more. And then you're going to hear gossips, and then you're going to hear a lot of bad things about you. And I wouldn't want somebody I know hearing, oh, look, and so. Well, she slept with that guy, now she's with this guy, and she's just basically opening her legs to whoever is available. I'm sorry, ladies. We need to keep them closed. Keep them babies closed, because they're not for that is not for everybody. It's not freedom. It's not empowering. We're gonna look bad. A man does not want that. Or I don't know. Maybe there's one man out there that does want a girl like that. But so far that I've heard of, no man wants that. They do not want that.
I have a very tough question I want to ask you. People might get mad. People might get mad in the answer, Bob. I have to ask it. If your son happened to find himself with a girl that's very promiscuous, what would you say to your son? And maybe he doesn't know, right? Maybe he doesn't know, but then I guess you find out from your friends that hey, she has a history. Like what would you say to your son when you if she has a history of just going around? How would you navigate that? How would you navigate that conversation?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be upset, but I have to respect that's a minor. But I'm gonna be like, okay, to my husband, we need to sit down with our son. I just heard this, and there is proof, and we need to talk to him that it's not okay, and he needs to cut it loose. Just cut ties and just let it go. That is not what we want for him, and that is not what he needs in his life. And he needs to understand from the get-go that is not okay. That is not what you want. Trust me. That is not what you want. People are going to talk about you, and then they're going to keep talking, and then they're going to, well, look at, he accepted her, and he's still just taking her back and back after everything she keeps doing to him. No, son, we need to have a long conversation. Not only with us, your sisters are going to jump in, and that one's still a minor, so you better prepare yourself, because that one's spicy. Like I said, that one's spicy. And they tell him, you cannot go out there and just give it for free. No, you need to wait. But I also don't want my son to end up with a girl that's very promiscuous, because I don't want my son to catch anything, or I find out something later, because that's going to hurt me. Because that was the number one thing that we taught him. Do not get with a girl that you know has a history. It's not bad, but I don't want that for you. That could be good for a person that's looking for that type of person, but that's not what we want for you, and that's not what you're looking for. So we would have to have a long family meeting on that one, like a long discussion, because it's a no, and it's going to be a big pass.
Yeah. Man, then shout out to you for keeping it real, keeping it honest on this podcast. I know a lot of women who say, "Oh my God, I can't believe she said that."
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm not for everyone, and everyone ain't for me. My mentality is so different than most women out there.
Yeah, and I think like because we live in a world today. It's like, no, we have to accept everything. I'm like, no, we don't. We don't have to accept everything. There's something called standards. So when you have a standards, that means you're not willing to accept everything that meets those standards. It goes against what that word itself. But sometimes I find it for a lot of people, they would say, no, you should accept me for my past or for everything. No, I don't really have to. I don't. I really have to. But I think it's just sometimes I feel like this what the world is doing is just creating a world of people not taking responsibility and accountability for their decisions in their life. So I think that's something that's kind of missing in this generation, because I grew up. My parents are old school and very tough love parents. Like, hey, you messed up. That they told you the consequences. whether verbally or physically.
Yeah.
so, so I learned at the hard. I learned a very important principle that my decisions there's always going to be consequences and there's always going to be benefits. And if I make some choices that attracts bad consequences and bad things to my life, I have to take accountability. I cannot tell the world, hey, don't judge me for my bad decisions. No, the world is gonna see you that way. You made that decision, and you're gonna get. There is something called consequences, but I think I see it today, especially when it comes to dating. That if people make bad choices in their decision of who they have sex with or decision who they partner with in their relationship, um, then they either don't want to take responsibility, accountability for it, or they expect the next person to come on to not judge them for what they did in their past. And I think it's only fair that if you're going to invest into somebody, you want to know, you have to take that consideration if you find out that information. And
Yeah.
I think that's okay. I think Tutasi said, I will never agree with a man or woman having multiple partners, more partners, lesser the value. Oh man, you're trying to trigger a lot of people right now. Tutasi said, a lot of people will be mad, especially the women. And I know she said MZ Carl is stating truth. All right, facts over feelings. Thank you so much. Shout out to you guys in the live chat. Always appreciate you guys being on here tonight and watching the entire show and being and participating in the live chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, it is a public show, so some of you guys want to jump on and finish up the last part of the podcast with us. Definitely enjoying this conversation and having MC Carol tonight. But MC Carol, I wanna go back to the topic of being a good wife, right? So I guess what I want to ask you right now is like I know we talked about before on the podcast what kind of values people build their relationships on today. Um, Sometimes people that's one thing I do see nowadays that people don't the values and morality and the self respect and all these things that we used to see from a very traditional sense, something that was taught to us. But you mentioned something I truly believe in about meeting the dad. I think that's something that's really really important, especially for a woman if you are want to find a good partner. And I think meeting the dad is one of the things that you can kind of vet out the weak the weak men and the men that's going to waste your time and play with your emotions and manipulate you to get what they want out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but talk about I want to talk about the vetting process because that's something I've always had very controversial conversation with women in the past on the podcast. We always talk about that the women one of the problems today is women have low standards. The standards for a man to get with you is very low. It doesn't take a lot for a man to get with a woman today. They just go on
Mm-hmm.
social media, get on an app, slide in your DMs, say hello,
Mm-hmm.
and next day you're with her on a date next day, and maybe the next day after you're being intimate. Um, so it doesn't take a lot for a man to get to have access to a woman. So, but that's one thing I kind of valued in the past, in the traditional times, even though it's not perfect, because nothing's perfect in his life, because people always try to attack, oh, because yeah, like everything, there's always something that's you need to work on. But I think the standards of making sure that, especially the one you have to meet the father. If you're a man and you want to take the responsibility to take care of a woman, then you have to be able to meet the dad and have a conversation with the dad. And I think that's one of the best things I would advise a lot of women out there. If you want to find out if your man is very serious about you, he has intentions for you, he sees you long term, ask him to meet your dad. And if the guy doesn't want to meet your dad, then that's a clear sign that he probably
Yep.
doesn't see anything long term because only a guy that sees you long term would want to meet your dad because men know that if you meet another man, we can see through you. We can see the bullshit. As men, we can
Mm.
see the bullshit about a man, and we can have the hard conversations with other men that most girls wouldn't want to talk to with men. We can just be really honest, be raw. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with my daughter? What are you doing with my niece? What are you doing with my sister? Um, but yeah, like, I want to talk about the vetting process. Like, you said that your daughter said that you meet your dad, but are there certain things that you teach your kids, like to make sure that they what's that word? Distinguish. That's the word. Distinguish the wrong men and the weak men from the good from the good men? Like what are the things that you teach your daughter? Like, these are the things you need to look for. These are the things that you need to test the guy that you're with to make sure that he's a good man for you. And if they fail these things, that's probably a good sign that he may not be the one. And you brought up a great example about meeting the father. So can you talk more about that? Like, what is your vetting process that you teach your daughters? This is what you have to put your potential boyfriend to go through to prove themselves, that they are right for you. And if they fail this I guess this test or this challenge, hell to the no.
With us, like my husband is full of tattoos. Number one thing, you got to take it up with the big man. And if you're scared by just looking at her dad and you just, nah, I'm sorry, you got to go. You cannot assume that just because he's full of tattoos, you're gonna have a conversation with him. That is her dad.
Yeah.
Like, number one, they have to meet the dad for
Yeah.
sure. Number one.
No,
Number
no, no,
two,
there's no negotiation for that.
no,
No
there is
negotiation.
not. And for me, there is not. And I know my husband agrees with me. You meet the dad first. Red flags, I always tell my girls, if you see them texting while they're around you and they're doing this and you're right here, but they're doing this, that's a no. No, they should not be doing that.
Yeah.
Another thing is, if you guys are already fighting in the beginning, that's another red flag. Where's the communication? Learn to communicate with each other instead of always fighting. This is only the beginning and you guys are already fighting. That's another red flag. That's a no. You guys shouldn't even be fighting at all. Even if it's for over something small, you guys should not.
Especially in the beginning, right? The beginning of the relationship, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids nowadays, they find any little thing to nitpick at. Well, I don't want to talk to you. I'm mad at you. They'll ignore your calls, they'll ignore your text. I'm like, Mija, you don't want that.
That's why
Out,
kids.
out with that. That may be in for them. That is not in for you guys. I don't want that. That's a red flag. Or if they start controlling you, the minute you see a controlling sign, you let us know. Can I talk to you, mom or dad? Can I talk to you? What do you think? Do you think this is controlling? And if we say, yeah, but what do you think? What are you going to do about it? Because we're giving you an option. We have our answer of what we're going to tell you. Now I want to hear what you're going to tell us, because controlling is not going to be accepted either. Like, also when they start being verbally abusive, that's another sign where that's not okay. Because if they're going to attack you verbally, that's going to get you mentally and emotionally exhausted. And that is a big red flag nowadays. Big red flag.
Yeah.
And I've always told my kids, these are all. But number one, meet the dad. If you cannot meet the dad, then I don't need to tell you the other red flags. First one off the bat. If you cannot meet the dad, then I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It's not good enough for us. They cannot just judge him because, okay, we're going to meet the dad. And then, oh, that's your dad. Yeah, that's my dad. No, I'm okay. No, don't. Like, you have to. Because for me, in the beginning, my husband did not want to meet my dad. He was scared. And then I told him, but my dad wants to see you. And I didn't know that they would drink together when they were when we were a bit older. And I'm like, what? We would have parties and you knew him already? And then I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I'm like, these are going to be just all the little things that I don't want for my girls. These are going to be the little things that I don't want in our marriage either. We're done with that phase of middle school sweetheart, high school sweetheart. Over any little thing, we're not going to argue. We are not young anymore. We're only getting older, and we need to get wiser in how we speak, how we approach others, and how we raise our children. Because how we are and how we raise our kids, that's what we're sending out into the world. how we raised them. And if other people, I get to hear, well, hey, like, you didn't raise your kid right, I'm going to take offense to it because I'm going to be like, wait, what did I do wrong? Because I have been nothing but open with my kids since they were young. I've always, like I said before, I've told them, don't do what I did. Me and your dad grew up very quick, very, very quick. We had to be responsible, work. I still went to school, went to college. It was hard. I don't want you to go through that. I don't want that for you guys. But if that guy's not willing to meet dad, then I don't need to go through the rest of the red flags. That's priority. Meet the dad. And if the dad likes the kid, then you're good. And that for us was a big thing when my husband actually liked my daughter's second boyfriend. And he has been truly amazing, especially now that we found out she has some health issues as well on her own. He has been there at doctor's appointments. He has been there for her. They're starting up like they want to do a little small business. They're working together. They're learning how to talk with each other, how to coexist together and build something together. And that's what I wanted for her. I wanted her to experience something like that because I told her, you're not going to get a guy like your dad. Like, I wanted a guy like my dad, but that's not what I got. I got something better. Not in the beginning, but man, I appreciate every single bad, good, ugly, beautiful. I appreciate all that because that made my husband who he is now as a man, and that made me who I am now as a mother and a woman. So that's what we're implementing with our kids. Meet dad first. And for my son, also meet dad first. You can meet me, but meet the dad first because as a man, he's gonna know. For my son, automatically he's gonna know too. I could say one thing, well, because I'm a girl, I'm a woman. No, meet the dad first because their dad is very wise. And I gotta give him that. I give him mad props for that because he's gonna know for my son, you know what, buddy? That's a no-go. That's like
And,
not a
and how many has there been guys that they brought and then they failed? They failed to test with the dad. Has it happened before?
yes, my daughter's first boyfriend. Like we said, don't date until you're ready. High school. As a matter of fact, I believe it was her senior year or
Did he fail? Did he fail by not showing up to meet the dad, or did he fail when he met the dad and the dad finally talked to him and figured out he's probably not a good candidate?
he got me upset, and I don't know how the kid is now, but what got me upset is that he would take my daughter out, like walking to go eat and everything, just to avoid talking to my husband. Oh, I'm gonna take her to eat. I'm like, you need to wait because she hasn't asked for permission. She has my okay, but what about him? Because
Oh,
I was the one who said no boyfriend. He was the one who said let her date. I said bad idea. Now we both talk about it, and my daughter too, and she said that was the worst decision I made, and I could give you guys that. You guys, I should have listened. I should have listened. And when you guys said no, it was a no. And I had told my daughter, I just wanted to avoid the heartache and the manipulation you went through because you shouldn't have gone through none of that. Nothing, like I mentioned, the mental and the verbal abuse. I didn't want that for her. And that's what she went through. And now with this relationship, I told both of them, like, meet the dad. And he was okay with it. He's like, okay, I'm scared, but I'm willing to meet him. And my husband said, he's a good kid. I like him. He's a good kid. And he
yeah.
comes around a lot and they're working and now they're building like a little small business together. They go out a lot, something that my daughter never did before. She goes out everywhere. He shows her different places. He shows her off to everybody. And I'm like, I see her face. She's happy. She is so happy. And I tell my daughter, the minute something is wrong, let him know how you feel and tell him, I think we need to sit down and talk. Have that communication at a young, like start it young and start it fresh. We got to talk. That's it. Plain and simple. Let's have a conversation.
You don't do the same thing for your for your for your son. You know, if your son date, you want him to bring to meet the mom like you, so you can talk and feel out the girlfriend.
I feel like for me, again, they're not gonna agree with me. I say meet their dad too. For if my son brings a girlfriend home, I know boys are for their moms. I know they are, and I love my son to pieces. But I would say I'll let my husband have a feel for it and be like, son, you know what? I don't think you should date right now. I don't think she may be the one for you right now. I think you should maybe wait. Because like I said, he can he can see it. I don't know why, but he can see things that I can't see. So with
Yeah.
all three of my kids, go to dad first. Go to him.
What are the things? So, say if your son brings her his girlfriend, what are the things that that you look for to test to kind of see, like because sometimes I talk to my older parents, especially my grandma. She's deceased now, but when I used to talk to her, she will always there's certain things that she will always say that if a woman doesn't if she sees a woman if you bring a girl home. One of the things she will always say if you bring if you bring a girlfriend home and you guys are eating, and she will always say, and if she doesn't get up to take his plate or make a plate for him, she will always say, "That's that's not the woman that you want, right?" And these are things that women, the grandmas and the moms will look for, right? And I remember I heard that talk to one of my family members because he brought a girlfriend home, and she just sat there when all the women were cooking, were cleaning. She just sat there, didn't do anything. She just get up for her man, and she told the guy like, that woman is not gonna be a good mother for you and wife for you." And he didn't listen, and he ended up being with her. And then he complained later, "Oh my god, like he doesn't do anything for me. That's a serve, that's a serve to cook." Well, I told you in the beginning, but yeah, like, is there anything that you like if you happen to bring your girlfriend home? Are there certain things that you like that you look for that the women behave that you were like, probably not gonna be a good wife for you
That would
as
be one of them. That would be
yeah.
one of them. How they come dressed to see me the first
Mm,
time. How
mm.
they come dressed and how they speak. Those two things with me for the very first time. First time impressions are you gotta
What's
make
the wrong way to dress and the wrong way to speak? That's can be a red
like I
flag for you.
say, like if you come and you have very minimal clothes, that's not how you meet mama. That's not who you bring like the saying goes. That's not what you take home to mama. No.
Exactly.
And if I hear her talking like, well, duh, 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 mija are like
Strong, independent. No.
I know you're like this new generation speaks differently, but like can you knock it down a few notches? Like I would question, why do you talk like that? You're barely meeting me for the first time. Why are you speaking like that? Did my son not talk to you? Did he not warn you how his mom is or how his dad is? Because this is not it. I'm sorry, but you can't act like that while you're here. That's not okay. But I'm not also going to let my son go at a very young age. Oh, like most moms, they let their sons go to visit the girlfriends while the girl's parents are gone.
Yeah.
That's not going to go with this guy. Oh, no. Sir, you stay in your room or you go do because I have him in baseball. Do what you do. Baseball, your grades, and then when you're a bit older, like way older, just I say for him also hold off on it. But if he does bring a girl, it's the way she's gonna approach me, the way she came dressed, and also if it happens to be at a family gathering, I want to see if she's gonna serve him or not.
Yeah. And have you seen that before? Like out of family members where the women wouldn't get up to serve. Have you
My
seen that before?
brother's ex-girlfriend, the baby one. My mom did not like her. My mom was just like, I don't like her. And I'm like, Mom, I don't either, but you have to like, don't. My mom is ruthless. With her, she just spoke her mind. And I'm like, Mom, that's not what we're gonna do. Like, I thought you raised us to like learn when and where and how to say it. But my mom was just like, she doesn't even cook for him. He wants me to, and I even serve my brother. And I'm like, this is not my job at all. Like at all.
All right. But yeah, at the end of the day, no worries. But we have come to the end of the podcast. A shout out to everybody in the live chat. I think 2700 said, for me, if my kids are in high school and down, then a girlfriend and boyfriend relationship is not an option. Then books is. Yeah, thank you so much for 2000. Thank you for that comment. But yeah, Carol, MC Carol 626. Carol, we have come to the end. Man, we had a great discussion tonight. We talked about anything, whether you agree or disagree. And shit, thank you so much for watching. I think Too Wonderful said that my dad used to tell me if she ain't good looking, don't bring it to the house. Hey, show some love. Yeah, show some love to the ugly women out there. At the end of the day, thank you so much. I'm Carol. Shout out to you guys on the live chat. But what's your final thoughts from tonight's podcast? And of course, how can people find and support you on your platforms as well? Go ahead, Carol. What's your final thoughts from tonight?
Final thoughts. Please take advice from somebody that has gone through it before. They know what they're talking about. They're talking from personal experience. I say listen to them. That is going to work for you later on. If you're younger and they're older, like myself, I say listen to that older person, because 10 times, like 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be correct. They're not going to be wrong. New generations, let's pick up our game. Let's pick up that pace. Let's pick up that game and learn the values of yesterday, not the ones from today. That way, you guys are going to be like this, and you're going to have good relationships with good communications. Don't do the I'm independent, I can do it on my own, I don't need no man. No, baby girl, we're not. And it goes for my men too, right off the bat. I know there's wonderful men out there, and I know there's some amazing women, but let's not start off wrong. Be honest, be vulnerable in the beginning, and just let them see you for who you are. There's nothing wrong with that. Be honest from the get. There's nothing wrong with that. And if they're not going to like you for who you are, then they weren't the one for you, and you can try again. And then you can reach me at Facebook as Carolina Villegas, V as in Victor, and then all my social medias, which is TikTok, Snapchat, IG, it's going to be under MZ Carol 626.
All right, no worries. Thank you so much, Carol, for having you on. I'll definitely drop the links below so you guys follow her. And the wonderful BL17 said, wonderful and very refreshing to have her. Yeah, definitely very refreshing tonight. Very peaceful podcast tonight. But don't worry, next week, next Saturday, we'll bring back the very modern women, and we'll be back on our very combative discussion. Maybe it's good thing for this weekend. I think maybe it's a good thing MZ Carol came on, so I can give Daniela a break from last night's podcast. But we'll be back to it, guys. We'll be back to it. Our discussions with the modern women back next week, next Saturday. But it was very refreshing to hear. But not only refreshing to hear, but it was very good. I always like to hear from people who are actively doing it and have the experiences. Everything like you are married for 25 years.
Going on 25 years in January.
Going on 25, and like I said, the things that you're doing, it's working. You have experience, and that's something that's valuable. That's one thing I like to do is anything I want out of my life, I like to talk to people or showing the results of what I want, especially when it comes to relationships. So always refreshing to have her on. I think Too Wonderful said, yeah, next week we'll have the popcorn. Yeah, have the popcorn.
I'm gonna have a drink too, because oh my goodness.
Yeah, save your wine and your popcorn for next week. We took a break this week. Very refreshing dialogue from MC Carol, but we'll be right back to it next Saturday. Please support her to all her platforms as well. But thank you, shout out to you guys on live chat for watching me for the entire show. Always appreciate you guys for your support. MC Carol, you guys have a good night.
You too.
I'll definitely contact you soon for the future podcast.
I'm up for it. I got you. I'm up for it.
All right. Have a good night. Okay.
You too.
Bye,
Good
y'all.
night, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Peace.